It is March 13th. It's been quite a while since I've had an update, so I think it's time. Um, Last couple weeks have been um, eventful, I guess is a good word for it. I saw my oncologist 2 weeks ago and got another injectional Lupron. The last injection I had was a 3-month injection, so it was a more concentrated, larger, stronger dose. And I had a lot of problems with it. I just continue to have issues with the Lupron. So when I went in to get another injection, I told her I didn't want to do the 3-month one. I wanted to go back and just do it every month because it seemed to do a little better with the month by month injection. So first week and a half, almost 2 weeks, a lot of problems. I had joint pain, I couldn't sleep at night, I was sick to my stomach, just all the usual stuff. This week has been a lot better. I did have a cold, or a stomach flu last weekend, so just this last weekend, so that could have been a contributor too, but the last few days I've been feeling pretty good. I'm also met with Dr. Vanover, my plastic surgeon, so she could take a look at the progress for the healing and the settling now that the permanent implants are in. The permanent implants have been in for about 3 months now. Right after I had the surgery, or a week after I had the swap, when they took the expanders out and put the implants in, I went in and it was kind of obvious that something wasn't quite right. They weren't quite healing evenly. So she had us buy a special bra that has this like Velcro strap that comes across, and it's supposed to like hold them in and down in the same position. So she said that would probably correct it. When I went in this week, I think it was this week, yeah, days are blurring together again. Obviously it was not fully corrected. So she took some measurements and did some writing and said, well, it looks like we're going to have to do a corrective surgery. So we'll have to fix my left side is kind of gone off and done its own thing. So I'll let you take a look at that so you can see how it has healed and how it's changed from right after surgery, 3 months post, and try to explain what she's going to correct, or what the next surgery is going to be. So my surgery is scheduled already for the 24th. It's not supposed to be, hopefully they won't have to cut into the muscle, so it'll be more superficial or more cosmetic corrections, I guess. So the recovery should not be as long as last time. So I guess I won't know, of course, until I'm right there in it. So yeah, I will go ahead and take a look at these. Okay. So you can probably notice right off the bat that you can see the top of one sits a little higher. Like, part of the problem from day one has been trying to get this side to come down, and it just wants to sit up high for some reason. So I don't know, but okay. All right. So one of the first things that I was worried about is suddenly the scar is in a completely different, on 2 different planes. Before they made the switch, they were perfectly even. My original surgeon, Dr. Shannon Tarrany, was amazing. I mean, the amount of skin she saved, the amount of nerve feeling I still have all through the upper part here, and most of the time you're supposed to have like no feeling from here down, But I still have I can feel everything in the middle. I can feel pretty much all through everything above the scar line. It's just down here that it's numb. And, outside is really the worst part. This part is the worst because of this, when they came in here and took all this out, everything through here is just completely numb, is completely dead. So, but still everything's healthy, and she did a really fantastic job. So when they made the swap, I don't know what happened. I don't know why, but she says she's going to fix it so the scars will be even again. And I don't know exactly how she's going to do that. She said something about taking tissue from underneath here. You can also see they're sitting in different places. I mean, this one did what it's supposed to, and this kind of, like the whole implant just kind of settled in a ball and went out that way. So from what I understand, she's going to kind of reinforce this side over here, and then take this in, and it's supposed to shift it over, and hopefully she can do all that without having to get, into the muscle, like cut into the muscle tissue. But I guess one of the things she's going to check when she opens up is there's this, underneath both sides, when they cut into the muscle tissue and they flip the muscle up to put the expanders in and later, have the pockets for the permanent implants. Once they get them in, they can't sew that muscle directly back down to where it originally attached. So they have this, I can't even remember what it's called now. I'm sure I've said it before. But it's like blank tissue, blank skin tissue, or blank connective tissue, and that they kind of sew in between. So, my muscle tissue, my pectoral muscle attaches here, is usually about that big. But now the fibers are cut right about here, and there's this, extended piece of extra tissue, so that's got this, nice pocket. So the concern is that might have come loose, like that extra tissue that's supposed to help support and keep this thing having the right shape. Maybe didn't stay attached to one of the attachment points, either the upper part or the lower part, so she's got to check that. And she's going to try and do some fat grafting. So I don't know where she's planning on pulling it from. She felt me all over, like my hips and my stomach and my butt and my thighs, and was like, "Do you have enough fat anywhere for me to do this?" I was like, "Well, I don't know. Thank you." But she's going to find some from somewhere, and she's going to graft fat into this side here to kind of help. I guess I've got this funky rib cage thing where my ribs on this side stick up a little bit more, so I don't know if she's planning to just give them a little more padding there or kind of soften the line. But then I've got this really deep cleft on this side, this really deep groove, because the rib cage dives in on that side. So on this side I'm kind of convexed, and on this side I'm kind of concave. So she's going to use fat grafting to kind of try and make that look more even. But because my rib cage is a little distorted like that, and my spine's not, I don't have scoliosis or anything, it's just the rib cage, just this front part of the rib cage that's a little distorted. So she said she'll be able to correct it a little bit, but of course it's never going to be perfect. So yeah, I mean, I think the bra may have helped a little bit, and they don't look terrible, but I certainly don't look real. But they're a lot more comfortable than the expanders were. They like when I sleep or do pretty much anything, they're not, when they were so stiff you knock into them or other issues. She did finally confess to me and to say that she did take them down a size. She didn't like how big the expanders were. But I didn't go bigger than, like when we were filling the expanders, I told her I wanted to be the same size I was naturally. And she had taken measurements before I had my double mastectomy, so she knew how big they were naturally. So she knew, exactly how many cc's or ounces, because, they took all that tissue off of me and weighed it. So she knew how much, I knew how much. So, and one side had more than the other, which because my body had naturally compensated for that convex, concave, weird thing with my rib cage. But she said once I was on the surgery table to when she was going to swap out the expanders, because we got the expanders to almost exactly those measurements. So I was happy with them. Like, I don't need them any bigger. That's where I would like to be, because, so I don't have to buy new bras or new clothes or anything, it'll all fit. But she said when I was on the table and she went to try and put those implants in, she said they looked so unnatural and so overly huge. And because of the difference that she had to work with, because one side had to be bigger to compensate for the convex concave thing, she couldn't make it work. So she went down small to a smaller size. So it's okay though. I guess I At first I was really quite annoyed about it, but now I was like, I don't even care anymore. I just would love this to be all over and for them to kind of match and move on, you know, so, yeah. Once this surgery is done, so this one is all about, you know, corrective stuff and checking things, because they found some weird foreign bacteria, I think, in the right side. She wants to check that again. Not that I've had any symptoms or issues, but since I'm going to be on the table anyway, she wants to make sure everything's, you know, healthy and don't find anything in there. So I guess they're going to be doing that. But other than that's, you know, small thing, it's all just cosmetic. So, or this is all like cosmetic correction. So it's supposed to go. It's supposed to recover faster. I don't know how long the surgery is going to take. It probably is going to depend, because they got to finagle things, you know. They got to see what caused what and what, you know, what they're going to have to do to fix it. And I'm just hoping they don't have to cut into the muscle tissue for any reason, because if they flay that pectoral muscle again, that's going to lay me up for another month, and I really can't do that right now, because I'm finally back working full-time again, and, you know, I feel like I've just, in the last month, been able to stand back up on my own 2 feet and start taking a few steps forward. So I'd rather not be, you know, knocked back again. So I guess we'll see, though. So once this one is done, I believe, as long as everything goes according to plan and is, you know, 100% cool, the next step after this will be nipple placement. So as far as coping with the Lupron side effects, there's a few things, because I tried talking to a number of different doctors about it. I talked to Dr. Vanover and my oncologist about it, and a couple nurses about it, and the nurses seem to think I should just not be taking it anymore. They should find something else, because I was so absolutely miserable and having so many side effects. My oncologist kind of was like, this was the compromise I made with you, so you didn't have to do more chemo, so I want you to be on this for a year. So she's really hammering on the, you know, it's funny because the whole time before I felt like she wasn't really honest with me about my prognosis, or, you know, the severity of my case. But now that we're doing the hormone stuff, I feel like she's blowing it out of proportion, making it much bigger than it was. Like, just like, you don't understand, this was very, very severe. You were, you know, stage 3, you were, you know, the tumors was this big, you didn't respond as well as I wanted you to the first rounds of chemo and blah, blah, and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like now she's trying to use, before she was sugarcoating everything, and now she's trying to use scare tactics to make sure I stay on the Lupron at least for a year. So I don't know. It's hard for me to, I guess, take it seriously, because her, you know, the blowing it out in the scare tactics, because before she was kind of dishonest with me, or not, you know, always beating around the bush and evading certain questions. And I don't know. If anybody else has issues with their hormone therapy, I would definitely suggest asking questions and talking about it, because it affects every aspect of your life. Because it was interesting, there were certain things that chemo obviously affected. You know, my appearance, my energy level, my appetite. But it never really affected, I mean, there were bad days, of course, but it didn't affect my mood, or, you know, my sexual ability, or, you know, let's see. Yeah, I think I slept okay on chemo. I mean, off and on. There was, well, I seemed to kind of do this thing where I would crash and then be up and then crash. Because when you first get an infusion, you just, it's all your body wants to do is sleep. So, but then you have some insomnia at the same time, so it's kind of weird. But the hormone therapy, it's just like a constant battle with insomnia. So, yeah, there are things that can help though. So, if you are someone dealing with that, I would encourage you to talk to people, other people that have gone through it. hound your doctors about it, or nurses sometimes have the most interesting, creative, and compassionate suggestions. It's just the nurses throughout this whole experience have been absolutely amazing. I don't know how as a profession they can continually be every day so compassionate and sincerely, interested in how you are doing today, and have little things that they can suggest to help you. It's just, they blew my mind every time I meet another nurse or have another nurse take care of me. It just blows my mind. How hard they work and how much they care, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I have a new respect, a higher level of respect. Not that I didn't before, but So yeah, I'm drawing a lot of blanks right now. So I guess that's probably all I have. I will probably post a small update after, either the day after or a few days after the surgery, unless something of interest comes up before then. I do.